Hi everyone, happy fall. Welcome back to Paulina's Global Flavors. We are still in season 2 and we're on the next episode, and I promise you that I'm going to be making egg rolls with the dilapidated zucchini. And so my friend Ashley got me the zucchini from her garden. So I'm just going to use a portion of this for our egg rolls. We're going to do lao egg rolls, and it requires bean thread noodles. What are bean thread noodles? They are not made from wheat or rice flour. They're actually made from mung bean powder, mung bean starch, and that is what makes it like glass noodles. You've heard of glass noodles, and that's pretty much it. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So there is bean thread noodles, and basically we're going to soak this in water, warm water, and it doesn't take very long, probably a minute or so to get softened, and I've already prepared one right here. This is what it looks like soaked in water. There you go, it's very soft. And we're going to drain out the water, and we're going to clip this into little segments and then put it in our egg roll mixture. Tonight we're going to do pork egg rolls, lao pork egg rolls, and it's going to require black fungus. So in other words, a mushroom, tree ear mushroom, also known as black fungus. And we're just going to take about a handful, maybe not even that, and soak it in warm water, and it'll probably take, I would say 5 minutes. And the water will rehydrate the black fungus or the tree ear, wood ear mushrooms. So a handful will actually equate to, this is already soaked, will actually equate to this amount, right? That's only from a handful. Look at the abundance here. And we're only going to chop up a handful of rehydrated mushrooms, whereas I put in a handful of dried tree ear mushrooms and it came out to this amount. So we don't want our lao egg rolls to be saturated with the fungus taste, with the mushroom taste, with the earthy taste. And so we're just going to do a handful and chop it up and put it in our egg roll mixture. So let's begin. I'm going to take you to the counter where I have drained the noodles. And what you can do, you want to make sure that there's not excess water in here, and you can blot it with a dry paper towel to get all that excess water out, simply because you don't want the water to be part of your egg roll mixture. It'll be too soggy, but also it'll take away and it'll compete with all the savory sauces. We're just going to do seasoning sauce or soy sauce. I actually like seasoning sauce, which I use as soy sauce just because it's more milder. And we're going to do a tablespoon of oyster sauce. And we're going to do about maybe half a teaspoon of my salt and black pepper mixture. Extra black pepper, I would do a quarter teaspoon or a teaspoon of this. And then of course the ground white pepper is ideal for lao egg rolls, which I love, 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 love this in lao egg rolls. We have just a handful, I would say half a cup of shredded carrots, and you can get this at your grocery store, your typical grocery store, already shredded. And then I just took cabbage and cut it up into thin strips equivalent to the shredded carrots here. And I would say half a cup of this as well. And because we're only doing half a cup each, we're going to do also half a cup of shredded zucchini. And then this would be about between a quarter cup and half a cup of chopped onions. And I have 1 egg, and we're going to beat it. And we're going to put half of this into the egg roll mixture, and the other half we're going to seal the egg roll wrappers with after we start rolling. And then of course, what egg roll would not be complete without ground unseasoned pork? So when you go to the grocery store, make sure that you get ground unseasoned pork and not ground seasoned or sausage seasoned pork. Otherwise, it's going to be a breakfast egg roll, which is fine if you like that, but it's going to compete with the savory sauces and also make it a little bit extra savory, unnecessarily unsavory. So again, unseasoned ground pork is what you want. And then last but not least, what do we wrap the egg rolls with? This is a brand typically found in the Asian grocery store. So this is ideal. This is egg roll wrappers. It's very thin. I would say probably more than half the thickness, the thin thickness of the ones you would find at the Western or Americanized grocery store, which bubbles up when you fry it, versus this one actually gives it that crackling, crispy texture, the type of texture that you want. I went ahead and plugged in my deep fryer behind me here at 400 degrees while I prepare all of this. And then we're going to fry it and we're going to eat it and we're going to just simply enjoy it. Charlie Poo, you want to help me make egg rolls? Yeah? You want to help me? Okay. He's so cute. All right. How you cut this up, there's no fancy way of doing it. And of course, you don't want this stringy amount of noodles. And so that's why we want to cut it up. I would just do it in fours like that. I mean, you can even twirl it around and do another one. And that's pretty much it, right? So nothing fancy about that. Now with the tree ear mushrooms, this is it feels very gelatiny, right? It smells like shiitake mushrooms just because it's been dried. Smells very earthy. So I would cut it up very thin slices because you don't want to bite into your egg rolls and feel the texture of the mushrooms or taste the abundance of the earthy, pungent fungus or mushroom taste. Some people are very sensitive to mushrooms, meaning that the smell, the taste can be a bit off-putting or overwhelming. So you can either put as much as I have here or not that much. If you were to put this in a measuring cup, it would be a little under half a cup, between a quarter cup and half a cup. And that's perfect. So now let's cut up, or you can chop the onions. And we're almost there. So there's a trick to doing this without having the onions slide away from you. So notice that I've kept the base on and I didn't cut all the way through. And what you'll want to do, so this is a little bit dried because it's been sitting in my refrigerator for a while. And this is ideal because the enzymes in the onions will make you cry. It'll make you tear up, not cry and like boohoo, but it'll impact your tear ducts. And so you'll get watery eyes. And so I let it dry in the refrigerator a little bit. So when I cut into it, it's not so juicy. And then again, the technique is leave the base intact, don't cut through it. And then you can just cut it up into little chunks without having the onion slices or mini wedges slide all over the place. And that's just a trick, not a trick, but that's a tip for cooking. And then just discard that. Now, if you're wondering what about celery, well, we're not going to put celery in this egg roll mixture. So notice many of the ingredients are pretty bland. That's great because we want to give the egg rolls texture and we want the textured ingredients, the vegetables, to soak up all of that yummy, savory sauces with the soy sauce or seasoning sauce and also, yay, the oyster sauce. Okay, so I'm going to move that aside, and this, I'm going to call it Ashley's zucchini. We're just going to do about that much right there, right? So that will equate to about a little under half a cup. You can see that it's aged, which is great. What to do with old zucchini? You can make zucchini cookies, zucchini bread, or zucchini lao egg rolls. I like leaving the skin in. We'll cut off the tip here. The skin in because it is packed with vitamins, and we're going to use this grater. So we're just going to grate. We're almost done here. Be careful not to grate your own fingers. There you go. Now, this one is an older zucchini, which means it doesn't hold a lot of natural zucchini juice, so you don't have to squeeze it out. This is perfect. This is such a perfect amount for my egg roll mixture. We're just going to put everything in here. And I'm going to use my gloves for this because, again, I don't like touching food, which I've been touching all night, especially greasy foods. So, my beautiful gloves. Tonight, I'm not going to use my favorite cooking tool, the mallet, because there is no need for the mallet tonight. So it's just my beautiful gloves. Back to the eggs, we're just going to do half of this in here. There we go. Oops. And then this here is going to be used to seal the edges of the egg roll wrapper when we wrap the egg rolls, and it'll seal it nice and tight for the frying process. Our black pepper. For this mixture, I don't want to put this amount in because this can be overwhelming, so I'm going to do about half of that in here. And again, the white pepper. I'm going to do, I would say that would probably be a total of a pinch because it's such fine powder. And then about a tablespoon of oyster sauce. And about a teaspoon of soy sauce or seasoning sauce. And then I'm going to do 2 pinches of salt in my black pepper mixture. And that's pretty much it right there. And then we're just going to mix it really well. You can see why I like to use the gloves here because, boy, you really need to squeeze the ground pork, and again, unseasoned ground pork, all the way. I can just smell the sauces, but also the onions and the cabbage and the peppers and the fungus. I can't believe I'm saying this, and the fungus. It just smells really, really good. This is pretty much done. I have a tip for you to taste the egg roll mixture before you start wrapping it and deep frying it because there's no going back. You certainly don't want a bland, unflavored egg rolls. So what I do is I take a Petri dish or a dipping sauce dish, and I just put a little bit like this, form it into a ball, and then just flatten it. And then I nuke it in the microwave for about 15 to 30 seconds. Let's do that. Cooked specimen, the one that we're going to sample. Mmm. 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 Oh, that is delicious. Mmm. It is ready. It is ready to be wrapped. So the gloves come off. And we're just going to toss it aside like so. And it landed in the kitchen sink. And then we're going to prepare the counter. And we're going to start wrapping with our spring roll egg roll wrappers. I use my turkey platter on and off holidays because it serves many, many purposes. I can make my egg rolls here, but also after I get done wrapping it, I can push it off to the side and I don't have to dirty up 2 serving trays or plates, just 1. Then I can also put my egg mixture on here so that way just 1 platter gets dirty. So I've just cut one of the edges here. So I just did one of the edges. And I'm going to take the whole thing out. And there's about 25 pieces in here, 25 wrappers. It even says so right here. And you're basically going to split it in 4s, right? But for now, just split it here. And then I would put the remainder of the wrappers back into the plastic wrap. This holds in the moisture, and that way your wrappers are not drying. Especially when you're new to wrapping, you're going to be a little bit slow, which is okay. So when you stick it back here, the moisture just kind of contains it all in here. Set that aside, and then you're going to peel off a layer so you can see how thin it is. And it's not like the ones you see at the Western American grocery stores, because it's thicker than this. It's not so flimsy. It feels like a wonton wrapper. And when you fry that one up, it bubbles. And whereas this one just crisp up the wrapper itself. It's like a crispy skin egg roll wrapper, and I really like it a lot. So here we go with the egg roll mixture. I'll put that off to the side, and we're just going to take 2 spoons, about a tablespoon size, and you're just going to take about a tablespoon portion, put it on the corner of the egg roll wrapper and spread it, I would say, to about maybe 2 inches wide here, so about an inch here and an inch here. That's all you need. And there's different techniques to wrapping egg rolls. There is this folded in, and then you wrap it forward. But honestly, I like it like this because there's a technique to it. So you fold this edge closest to you. You take this edge and fold it. Take your 3 fingers, spread it across evenly, and just pull it towards you. And this allows you to tighten it for a more tighter egg rolls, and that way it's not floppy after you fry it. It'll crisp it up to a perfection. And then you fold it in a little, not necessarily 90 degrees, right? You can do that, but I like to fold it in maybe at 93 degrees. And then you just fold it. As you seal it and roll it away from you, you want to pull it back towards you, right? So as you're sealing it forward, pull it back towards you. And this allows you to tighten the egg roll wrapper. And you'll want it tightened. You don't want there to be air in there, because again, when you go to fry it, it's going to be bubbly and it's going to be flimsy and floppy, which who wants a floppy egg roll? So this is it right there. Ta-da! That is a perfect egg roll. Tight and long. So here is the seal. And look at that. Nicely done, right? And you'll just put it off to the side. You can see there. I think I'm probably going to make maybe 10 tonight. So with 10 egg rolls for the 2 of us plus Charlie Poo, he'll probably get 1 egg roll, and we'll cut it up into little chunks and then he can have some. But for my husband and I mean, I think that's plenty, because I'm also going to make my homemade wonton soup, which I've done a video earlier in my YouTube channel, and so check it out. It's a very, very delicious recipe with bok choy. So I'm going to wrap a total of 12. I will eat 7, and my husband can eat 5. Well, there's Charlie Poo too, so we'll need to give him 1. So I'll eat 6. My husband will eat 5, and then Charlie Poo will have 1 to himself. My little helper, my little furry border collie helper. You've seen him in a few of my videos. He's just hanging around whenever there's food. And the oil is hot in the background. I'm actually going to bring it up here on this counter, and we can start frying away. Ooh, the oil is hot. So we're going to take an egg roll. I already tested it. It wasn't ready yet, but we're going to stick it in there, and it'll start frying up. So I'll do a few at a time. Ooh, look at that. That is beautiful, right? There's about 3 more in there. Ooh. My wonton soup is done, so I'm gonna go grab it on the stove, and then we're gonna come down to the countertop. Okay. My wonton soup, and then egg rolls. And then we're just going to plate this Mm. Mm-hmm. That's so good. The one that I just bit into. Mm. 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 That is so good. So here is sweetened chili sauce for spring rolls or egg rolls, the same thing. Or I like the chili garlic sauce. This one has been used extensively. And then you pair this with sesame oil. You basically dump the garlic chili sauce in your little petri dish or your little dipping sauce dish. And then a little bit of sesame oil, or a lot. I put in about half a teaspoon or a full teaspoon. The smell is wonderful. And then I like savory, as you know. I'm just going to spritz on a little bit of soy sauce or seasoning sauce. This is my favorite brand. And then you're just going to take your spoon and you're going to mix it real well, like that. And let's give it a whirl and a crunchy bite. Mmm. 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 Now that is scrumptious. Thank you for watching Paulina's Global Flavors. I'm going to indulge in my wonton soup plus crunchy, crispy egg rolls. And I will catch you on the next episode.